Good evening. Today is August 26, 2025. Welcome to San Marino Unified School District Board of Education meeting. Here's our board president, C. Joseph Chang.
Hello, everyone. This is C. Joseph Chen, board president. I'm called to the order for tonight open section for August 26, 2025 board meeting. First of all, there's nothing to report for the closed section. First of all, I would like Mr. Jose Care to introduce our 2025 to 2026 student board member.
Good evening, members of the board, Board President Chang, Superintendent De La Torre, members of cabinet, and guests. It is my honor to be here tonight, as I always do, to come and introduce our new student board member. And I am really pleased to introduce Rowan Burke. Rowan is a young man who is well respected amongst our SMHS campus by peers, faculty, and adults alike. Rowan has been a student at San Marino Schools since kindergarten. He was a Viking at Valentine Elementary School, and then he became a Fox at Huntington Middle School. Now he's a Titan. He's a senior Titan at San Marino High School. Rowan has two twin brothers, Dylan and Graham, who are freshmen at SMHS, and his mother, Emily, is one of our 2026 grad night chairs. So she is also carrying a big weight for our school, and we are thankful for that. Rowan's father is a well-respected doctor in our community. And so, yeah, it is my pleasure, as I said. Rowan participates in many school activities. He's a member of our tennis team and our basketball team. This is Rowan's second year serving as one of our hospitality commissioners for the student government program for ASB. And he's in charge of giving campus tours on a weekly basis. And we hear all the time how wonderful he is and how well he knows our school and how he makes prospective students and their parents feel welcomed. He answers questions, and he is just a pleasure to be around. So we get comments all the time from parents and prospective parents about how he is such a wonderful addition to our ASB. He is obviously now in his second year as an ASB officer, and he's going to continue to have double duty as a student board member and as a hospitality commissioner, again, because he does such a great job. Outside of school, Rowan is an active member of our Boy Scouts. He's working on his Eagle Scout award, and he's always good. One of the things I enjoy about working with Rowan is he's always really good about engaging in conversation with all of us. So I enjoy having conversations with Rowan all the time. He is, again, kind, and he is very nice to everyone. And I am really, really proud to call him my student. So I know that he's going to be a great addition to the Board of Education. And so please help me welcome Rowan. Thank you. Again, thank you for having me tonight.
Thank you for Jose.
You're welcome.
Okay, first of all, welcome you to join us. You will enjoy for the the next 12 months, with us. As a courtesy, I think each board member should introduce yourself. Okay. Okay, I'm the board president, Joseph Chen. I've been here for the 24 years. Okay.
Yeah. Francesca Gill, vice president. I have two kids. I have an 8th grader and a junior at the high school. I look forward to elevating the student voice across all campuses, and would love to hear about your Eagle Scout project too.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, I'm Shelley Ryan. I've been on the board for 11 years and looking forward to working closely to find out what the student needs are and to hearing student voices.
I'm Joshua Song. I'm board member. I'm a new to the board that just got in this year. And I have 7th grader kid and 5th grader kid, 2 boy in Valentine. Both came from Valentine and they're Boy Scouts. So it's gonna be really fun. Yeah.
By the way, tonight one of the board member, Joanna Lam, she's not able to attend. Okay, we will introduce to you next time. Okay, now let's go
Oh, yeah.
for the executive team. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Linda Delatorre and I'm the superintendent.
Good evening, Rowan, and welcome. Congratulations. My name is Lana Richter. I'm the assistant superintendent.
And I'm Stephen Chen, the Chief Business Official.
Welcome, Rowan. I'm Jason Rose, Director of HR.
Welcome, I'm Kwok Huang, the Director of Technology.
Welcome, Jennifer Delatorre. I'm the assistant to the superintendent.
Okay, thank you for everyone. Okay, let's call to order. First of all, Mr. Song,
Present.
Mrs. Ryan,
Aye.
Mrs. Gear,
Here.
Mr. Chen, I, student board member, Mr. Book.
Here.
Okay, thank you. 6A, Pledge of Allegiance. I would like to turn it over to Dr. Lina Richter to introduce our student who is leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, President Chang. Tonight it is our honor to welcome Julian Collet, a San Marino High School ASB president, to lead the board in the salute to the flag this evening and then share a little bit about himself and his school. So Julian, welcome and thank you for being here.
Thank you. Okay, everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Okay. San Marino High School is an interesting environment and one that prior to moving to San Marino, I never thought that I'd be part of. I went to private schools for most of my life, first in New York City and then in Los Angeles. But when my family decided to move into the San Marino School District, they decided to send me to SMHS. Now, coming from a school with a grade size of 26, it was a very different environment. And honestly, I was quite nervous. But coming into the SMHS community, my fears went away. There were so many activities to join that I seriously had a hard time choosing. And to be honest, I didn't choose. I joined mock trial, drama, ASB, dance, tried out various clubs, all while challenging myself with incredibly, to be honest, hard classes. And now I've taken on leadership positions in almost all of my activities because I've loved being in them so much. And I don't think that that's a common opportunity. SMHS is such a perfect size because we get all these opportunities, but we're also a very small public school. So all these positions are possible. Especially now, taking on the role of ASB president, I can see how hard our teachers, staff, and administrators work on creating so many fun activities because I am now planning my own fun activities for the school. So without SMHS, I would not be able to enjoy doing as much as I do or even do all of those activities.
Julian, I'm going to ask you to come up here front and center. We're going to take a photograph with you. And I want to thank you for taking this time to be here this evening and looking at the Pledge of Allegiance. I have seen you perform at the high school, and you are quite the performer. So I know you're very engaged and involved in all that San Marino High School has to offer. So thank you for being such an engaged student. Thank you so much. And then can we get the high school administration also? Let's get one of the board, just the board first, and then we'll get you guys in this one. Thank you. Okay, now can the high school administration join us? And what is that?
Do this side so you can kind of even it out.
Yeah. There we go. Okay.
One, two.
Perfect. And this is a certificate of appreciation. Just thank you for being here. Thank you. Thanks, Fox.
Next 6B, approve of agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Any second?
Second?
Roll call, Mr. Song,
Aye.
Mrs. Ryan,
Aye.
Mrs. Gill,
Aye.
Mr. Chen, aye, and the student board member, Mr. Book.
Abstain.
Next, 6C, approve of minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the August 12, 2025 regular board meeting minutes?
Move to approve?
Any second?
Second.
Roll call, Mr. Song,
Aye.
Mrs. Ryan,
Aye.
Mrs. Gill,
Aye.
Mr. Chen, aye. Student board member, Book?
Abstain.
Yes. Seven, public comment. The Board of Education has adopted Board Policy 9323B to ensure the public's right to be heard in any matter pertaining to San Marino Unified School District. Person who wish to provide a public comment will have a three options to submit a public comment. First, submit through an online form. Did we have any submission via the online form?
We have no submissions today. There were no submissions.
Okay. Second, request to speak during the meeting via the Zoom. Mr. Hong, please pause the meeting for 1 minute to collect the public comment.
The 1 minute starts now. If you would like to request to speak during the meeting, please press the raise hand icon to make a request. If you're dialing in from home, please dial *9 to make a request. If you are here in public, please submit a public comment card. Communications from the audience regarding matters not on the agenda or items in the consent, information, and action sections, please provide your comments now. There is approximately 30 seconds left. We do not have any requests online to speak.
Okay, thank you. Lastly, request to speak during the meeting in person via the public comment card. Do we have any submission via the public comment card?
Submissions tonight.
Okay, thank you. That concludes for the public comment. 8, public hearing. I would like to turn it over to Dr. Choi to conduct a public hearing on the AB 1200, public disclosure of the collective bargaining agreement, California School Employee Association, CSEA, chapter number 120.
Thank you, President Chang. Mr. Huang, go ahead and please start the 1 minute timer to take any requests to speak. The San Marino Unified School District is now holding a public hearing on the 2025-26 AB 1200 report disclosure for the California School Employees Association, CSEA, Chapter 120. This hearing is in compliance with the California Government Code Section 3547.5, Education Code Section 42142, and the criterion standards adopted by the State Board of Education. If you would like to make a request to speak on this topic, please press the raise hand icon or submit a public comment card at this time.
We do not have any requests online.
Okay, thank you. Then that conclude for the public hearing tonight. Next, 9, consent section. Do I have a motion to approve the consent section 9A through the 9H?
Move to approve consent section 9A through H.
Any second?
Second,
Roll call, Mr. Song,
Aye.
Mrs. Ryan,
aye.
Mrs. Gear,
Aye.
Mr. Chen, aye, and a student board member, Book.
Abstain.
Thank you. Motion carry. 10, communication section A, communication from the board education. We ask that each board member take no more than 3 minutes to share their communication. Start from Mr. Song.
Thank you, President Chang. I had an opportunity to visit the Valentine Elementary School back to school night. And when I get a chance to visit each classroom, I just surprised at each teachers are different and classrooms style is different, but same time is all good. So I can kind of feel that lot of diversity with the full of energy, but same time is very positive. And I'm so excited to visit the back to school for the middle school and the high school after this. Thank you.
Next, Mrs. Ryan.
Thank you, President Chang. I had the pleasure of visiting Valentine's Welcome Back as well as Carver. And what a nice welcome to our, not only to our staff, but our students in terms of the numbers that were there and just the busy joy of being back at school, just watching the families so happy to have their children back in our hands. And then, us welcoming them with open arms, but also, we had a really nice reception welcome from the Chinese Club of San Marino, who welcomed our new staff members, our administrators, as well as just the community of new families and kind of embracing them and really opening up to all the new families to our community. Thank you, President Chang.
Thank you, Mrs. Song, Mrs. Gear.
Thank you. I as well attended the Valentine and Carver back to school nights, and I love seeing how much consistency we have across the two campuses with the quality of education we're giving all of our elementary school children, and just the excitement to be back at school. I was helping Mrs. McAlpine greet people at the Valentine open house. So many people needed a map, which is great to see that there's so many new people, new faces around the campuses. I attended the opening football game at the high school, which was kind of a bummer that we lost. But, we had a great showing, I think, for the first game, especially the students, very enthusiastic in their white outfits, and just look forward to a great year and a great season. So thank you.
Thank you. I attend the Valentine and the Carver back to school night. And also I attend for the new employee orientation. I also give them the talk. I guarantee them they come to a more safe environment to work. And I encourage them, this is the best school district, and they can extend their teaching to the student. And also I attend what the Mrs. Ryan mentioned, you know, the Chinese club, they have a welcome new resident reception. Anyway, I think I want to appreciate all the administration and school science administrator. I think we have a good, safe and also a very positive beginning. I think that is a good start. Thank you. Next, let's go to the B, communication from the student board member.
Good evening, members of the school board. It's been an exciting and engaging start to the school year across our San Marino schools with a variety of events involving our students and families. At Carver Elementary, students and families kicked off the year with a back-to-school ice cream social, followed by a bike rodeo for grades 3 through 5. Students at Valentine also enjoyed a popsicle social, and our schools recently welcomed families to back-to-school nights, giving them an opportunity to connect with teachers and staff. For our secondary schools, web orientation helped ease the transition for incoming sixth graders, and new families were warmly welcomed throughout the dedicated orientation sessions. High school students also had a vibrant start, with the senior class coming together for their traditional senior breakfast and ASB leading an energizing retreat this past weekend. Students from Carver, Valentine, and Huntington Middle School all were invited to the San Marino High School football game last Friday, where the Titans kicked off their football season. Finally, our talented chamber choir is preparing for their retreat this coming weekend. We wish them all the best. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next, let's go to C, communication from the superintendent, Dr. Directori.
Thank you, President Chang. I just have to say that I am so grateful and I feel truly blessed to work with such an amazing team of school site administrators. They work exceptionally hard this time of year, and they have been just tireless at making sure their campuses are ready for our kids and parents to come to back to school night. We eagerly await Huntington Middle School's back to school night this week. And I think San Marino High School's is next week. Oh, September 4th. So we have some time there. That's good. But they've all been just working really, really hard to welcome everybody back. And so I'm very grateful for their professionalism and their leadership during this critical time. In addition to that, I'd like to welcome our two new assistant principals, Emily at the high school and Samantha at the elementary. Hope we haven't worn you out yet, Samantha, going back and forth between two amazing elementary schools. But thank you so much for coming into this wonderful school district and for bringing with you all the skills that are really going to take us to the next level. So thank you so much. You made your principals very happy. I also want to take this time to thank my executive team who has been working all summer at making sure that we have all the positions filled and everybody in place to welcome our kids back. We've just had such great positive energy at each campus. We've attended both elementary school back to school nights. Those classrooms were full of parents super excited to be there and teachers who are happy to be back on our campuses. Just such great energy, and I'm very, very pleased with what's happening in the school district this year. We have a bond project that we've been working very hard on behind the scenes over the summer. I know Dr. Choi is really excited to continue that work in the years ahead. We have one of our amazing oversight committee members sitting in the audience tonight, so thank you for being here, sir. And I have two other presentations on the agenda, so I'm going to cut myself off right there and hand it back over to you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's go to the 11 information item, A, major R and a major E update. I would like to turn it over to Dr. Stephen Choi for the major R and the major E update.
Thank you, President Chang, members of the board, student member Rowan, and executive team. As you know, last year was a momentous one for our district with the successful passage of Measure M, our $200 million facilities bond, and the renewal of Measure R, one of our two parcel taxes, which generates $1.6 million annually to support teacher and staff positions. This evening, we are pleased to welcome Joy Coomer from Team Civics, who will provide a post-election analysis as well as share insights on what opportunities may lie ahead.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Choi. President Chang, board members, new student board member. It's a pleasure to be with you tonight, Dr. De La Torre. Also a pleasure to see you all again. It's nice when I get to come back and tell you about our successes. This, of course, is the second measure we have done back to back. As was mentioned, Measure M was passed last November, and then we had to move really quickly, just right away in December, to get ready for Measure R. And we had an incredible team, again, of parents and board members and district staff helping out every step of the way. And it really made a difference. And we again saw success. And I think you'll be really happy with what you see here, because it shows not only were we successful, but this was one of the highest passage rates of any of your measures that we've passed recently. Go. I don't know how to scoot that up. There we go. So just taking a look at the big number right there. So at the end of the day, Measure R passed with 76.8% of the vote. I did look, this actually passes both Measure E and the previous Measure R passage before. It passed by a little over 738 votes. You'll notice that a total number of voters, and we'll talk a little bit about turnout, but a total number of voters of 3,165 voted in this election. We really did see that engaging the parent population was a very important part of this process as we moved forward. And you can't quite see it here, but the numbers, Measure R in 2019 passed with 69.2%. In 2021, Measure E passed with 73.8%. So again, we just keep outperforming ourselves as people understand the importance of these measures, and we get a lot of support from the community. So I can try moving. Thank you so much for your help. So turnout, as we look specifically at the turnout, you have a little over 10,500 voters in the community. It was a pretty low turnout. Not a lot of voters participated in this election. 29.97, so really about 30% of voters overall participated. That's not uncommon for what we've seen in prior June elections. It's just a lot of people in the community leave right after school's out. And if we don't catch them to vote, before they go, sometimes we miss that opportunity to have them participate. We also took a look at the different communities. You have little pieces of voters in just outside of San Marino. Of course, the San Marino voters make up the biggest portion of your voters, and you can see they were some of the most supportive. 76.9%, little over 2,000 voters, but also your few numbers of East Pasadena voters are also very supportive of the measure. So across the board, we saw all voters participating and voting yes above that 66.7%, which is required for passage of a parcel tax. Try the next slide. There we go. When we were projecting for the turnout for this election, we did look at our previous measure, and we actually looked at Measure E and how many people turned out to vote for Measure E. In that particular election, there was about 4,791 voters. Now, you may recall when we did Measure E, we had to come back for that one, and we ended up doing it at the very end of June. And there was a lot of energy back then from a lot of parents. So I think that that's why we saw a higher turnout in Measure E than we saw this time for Measure R. We still reached 30%, but it wasn't quite the numbers that we had seen before in Measure E in 2021. But again, a little different timing, a little different circumstances. Next, it's always interesting to just take a look at how the voters voted across party lines. Now, we never know exactly how any individual votes, right? All of our votes are anonymous. However, when we know that we have to reach 2/3, we know that it doesn't matter your political party. especially when we're looking at how evenly our voters are spread out amongst the different demographics, that we had 2/3 from support from all party types, right? It didn't matter what your party affiliation was. Clearly, the numbers support that we had support of all of our voters. So you can see that evenly Democrats, Republicans, and no party preference, which really is mostly independent voters, they all made up the same percentage of your ballots overall. So, Republicans turned out at a higher rate. That's just because there's fewer of them than there are of Democrats, but overall, they still made up the same amount of ballots. And we know, again, that we had support from all of them because of our high passage rate. So party affiliation never impacted the support of this measure. I always like to take a look at turnout by age as well. So when we look at your voter data, one of the things that we see right away, of course, is that although your voters are fairly evenly spread in those age bands, when we look at 25 to 34, all the way down to 45 to 54, you see that your registered voters in each of those bands are pretty consistently the same. But once we get to 55 and over, they do make up a huge chunk of your voters. And we've known this from all the previous elections that we've worked on as well. And it's just to point out that not only do they make up a big chunk of your voters, but they also are your consistent voters. So as we look to the future and we look to the future of Measure E, that outreach to those groups continue to be critical to your future success. We do see that parents, you'll notice that even the 35 to 54 turnout amongst those groups was still very high, right? We can see that 14.1 and 20%. So those are your parents, most likely. And that's still important to encourage that turnout. I would have loved to have seen more, quite honestly. So that's another place where I want to keep engaging our voters and making sure that they participate in our elections. This is just an interesting graph. As you know, ballots go out 30 days before the election and people can start voting right away. What we do is we graph those returns over time. It's a little bit hard to tell because what we're actually seeing is when the Register of Voters records that ballot as received. So they're looking at the ballots, they're checking each one out. And then when they record it as received, we can kind of see it on the graph there and see those numbers go up over time. But you can see people are voting throughout that 30-day period in pretty steady numbers. But we do see that biggest jump there at the end when the last few days come in. And it's always a critical part of our election of getting the word out. So a couple conclusions that I thought would be helpful to share with you as the district and also as board members. We had a robust and well-organized campaign. We had to because we just came off the bond measure, right? We had put all this time and energy and efforts into it. And one of the things that really made a difference is that we had such strong committee members, both in the chair, Kristen Gar, one of your parents, but also Micah O'Mara again and Peter Coe, both who were instrumental in the bond. And actually all three were very active in the bond campaign. But Kristen stepped up to help chair the committee this time. Their support of this was just incredible once again. You always have amazing parents, no matter where they are or what they're doing. But honestly, these three really shined a lot. We also saw that very intentional community gatherings, such as the garden parties, was a really nice way to do outreach to those senior communities. And I would recommend, even when you're not working on a ballot measure, that it just be folded into part of your regular communications. We heard from so many community members how much they appreciated Superintendent, you coming and speaking to them and talking about what's going on in the district, and also helping them understand the budget and the need for these parcel taxes. It was just so critical. They just felt like they had a lot of information. They may not always come to the board meetings, and so sometimes you have to get out and go where they are. The other critical piece that I really want to mention is the support and engagement of your PTAs and your foundations. Both the PTAs right here on your various campuses, as well as all the organizations, they were engaged. They each donated to the campaign. They each endorsed the campaign. And if you can scroll down just a little bit more, you can see we have all of the PTA presidents there that were part of a mail piece that went out showing all of their support. And, we haven't had that in the past. And I think it's critical to make sure that we continue their engagement and their support of your parcel tax measures. They're such a key part of your district and of the district identity. And I think they are also key leaders and communicators in your community as well. So it was very, very important. So these were the two mail pieces that we went out and sent out to the whole community. And you can see the PTA endorsement was on both, as well as mentioning the foundation's endorsement. We also had volunteers who went out and knocked on doors and talked to individuals. We also did peer-to-peer texting outreach, again, mentioning the garden parties here. And then once again, this is really due to Micah's hard work. She sells all the lawn signs, and it helped fund the campaign. And people were so generous and, just really engaged in showing that support. And again, something we didn't really have before the bond, but I think it gets those parents excited and involved in the process, and they like showing their support. So just kind of a really ingenious thing that she has put together here. So now I want to talk about your upcoming Measure E parcel tax. So first, you'll notice that as I look here forward, we just renewed Measure R. You have two parcel taxes. Each one of them are in place for 6 years. That's historically what the community has supported. They understand that 6-year term. They feel good about that 6-year term. Measure E is your larger of the two parcel taxes. It could be said it's probably your more critical one, quite honestly. It will expire on June 30th of 2027. So it may seem like a long ways away, but we know how quickly time moves. And so it's important that we start thinking about the timing of that. Since Measure R just passed, it now will not expire until June 30th, 30/31. So we have that 6-year, wait before we have to worry about that. Now, there are two in particular options that you have that some districts have considered as they've gone through parcel tax renewals, when they've had more than one, similar to you, when they've had 2 or 3. One is that you could look to renew Measure E in the spring of 2027. So just as we did with Measure R, in 2026, the board would adopt a resolution. We would move forward to renew Measure E in the spring of 2027. So you'd really just wait till the end of next year, or about this time next year, I'd be back. We'd be talking about renewing Measure E, and we would look to renew that for the 6 years. The other option that a lot of districts consider is they combine and renew their parcel taxes at the same time. It's a little bit of an interesting concept because right now Measure R is there till 2031. So even if you combined and renewed them at the same time, it would be one amount. We would renew them for a 6-year term, just as you always have done. And then you would only have to do one election once every 6 years, but it would be for the full amount of the two combined parcel taxes. So I want to just kind of highlight how that would work, right? We would put the language so that it would say that if this new measure passed, that we were combining and renewing them together, so it's still just a renewal, we're not adding tax, we're not changing the terms, then they would now work together and they would replace the existing Measure E and the existing Measure R. So we would no longer collect the Measure R that we currently have if it passed. We would only now collect this new measure. Your voters have not been ready for change in the past, but we have time to explain how this would not change anything, but instead save the district money, right? It would save you elections because it costs every time we have to do an election. It would save your parents and your PTAs from having to run those elections and do all the outreach and the communications. So in the long run, this would be a cost savings to the district and not change in any way what the voters would pay for the 2 parcel taxes. So you can do that in any Tuesday of any month before Measure E expires. So let's take a moment and just think about that. If you decided to look at this route, you could decide, we want to explore this. And let's say, for example, you said, I'm just going to pick an upcoming election so that you can imagine, what that might really look like. Let's just say you said, let's give ourselves a lot of time and let's think about putting them on the ballot in November of 2026, one measure to renew them both before Measure E expires. And we do all of that outreach this next year to help the community understand what the plan is and why we would do that. If it passed, again in June, because that would be the trigger date of when Measure E would expire, the new one would take place, both of the other 2 would go away. We would be fine. If for some reason it failed in November of 2026, Measure R is still in place. We have not hurt Measure R. And if it fails in November of 2026, you still have another opportunity to go back and renew Measure E before it expires in June of 2027. So if we kind of take a look at this timeline of planning, you've seen this before with the bond and you've seen this before with the other parcel tax. And I'm happy to answer any questions you might have about, kind of the timing that I'm talking about. But what I would recommend, if you're thinking about combining and renewing these, again, for all of the really good reasons that we mentioned, I would say next year in 2026, let's take a look at a survey. Let's see if we can, if voters can understand the concept of what we're proposing and if it would be supported by the community. It would give us plenty of time to do that outreach. And then you could either plan for a November of 26 election, or we could just look at a Measure E renewal, straight renewal in the spring of 2027. So I'm going to pause there because I know this is a lot of information. But I welcome any questions that you may have either about the successful passage of Measure R or about looking ahead to how we tackle the renewal of Measure E.
May I ask
Yes,
a question?
yeah.
Okay, thank you, Joy, for your presentation and also for all your hard work on our previous 2 campaigns. I mean, the success speaks for itself for your hard work and dedication to it, so thank you. I have a question about combining. I have thought that this is a possibility for a while. Can you speak to perhaps making the tax rate a single type of tax rate where it would be per 100,000 assessed, as opposed to taking the R 986 plus the E, because that money becomes less valuable over time if we have a set amount, and it will pay for less and less teachers. So can we find the point where people will not be paying more money by combining them, but then the revenue would grow over time as properties are traded and, they increase in value as well?
Unfortunately, with a parcel tax, we are limited to taxing a per parcel amount. That's what separates bonds from parcel taxes. Bonds are on the assessed value of the property, and they allow you to use money for facilities in that particular way. Parcel tax money comes directly to the general fund, and you can change the dollar amount. I mean, that is
So
why
what are the dollar amounts for E and R then? I thought E was actually I thought it was a per 100,000. No?
No, it is also, so the thing that you have that is very unique, but more districts are doing, is that both do have a COLA. So they do each grow by 3% each year. Stephen, do you have the numbers?
Yes, I do. Measure E, our larger parcel tax, for 2024 was $1,052.63. And then more recently, Measure R, the per parcel rate is $415.
Okay.
Yeah. So instead of just renewing that Measure E at a little over $1,000, we would actually try to combine the two into one measure. We would keep all the terms the same, so we would still have the 3% escalator, but we wouldn't be able to change the parcel tax to an assessed value type of tax. I will say, though, some districts, and again, this would be a very big change for your district, and we would have to do some studies to figure it out. But some districts have gone, instead of a flat rate per parcel, they do a cent per square footage. So they may do 10 cents per square footage. Now you can imagine in the
proportionate to probably how many people you have in your household.
Yeah, well, and you can imagine that in some of the Bay Area communities where this is very popular, right? They also have big box businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And it means that your businesses tend to pay, your larger size businesses tend to pay a little more than your homeowners. You do have some big homes here, though. So it would change how much they would pay. And that would be something that we would have to have a larger communication with the community.
I mean, I would love deeper analysis on all of our options, because I think we need to, go out where it's data backed, where we have support of the community ahead of time and not spring anything on anyone. So
well, that's why we wanted to talk about it tonight, because we do have that time and that luxury. But the square footage would be a big change. It is a difference, but it is something that many other communities have been embracing, and others that are similar to yours, right? Where there are it is a very small community, very close-knit community.
The other thing is I would hate to have to go out for another parcel tax if we are short, because then this amount is not covering the same amount of teachers that it once did. And it's just not anymore like it was. So,
yeah, that was a big part of when we renewed Los Altos School District's parcel tax. That was a big part of our communication was, we said we're funding 26 less teachers. Right. And that's a very powerful message. It definitely can be a very powerful message.
Thank you for answering.
Any more question?
When do you need to plan it out and make the decision to test it out?
I would say early next year, we should really start looking at this, get past the holidays, especially if you're thinking about either changing the measure or you're thinking about combining and renewing. I think that the year runway is really critical to that. And of course, I'm in regular communication with the superintendent and CBO. And if there was a desire to look at something sooner, we could certainly do that.
So would we poll the community as to their appetite on whether or not they would be amenable to consolidating the two parcel taxes into one? And if so, what's the timing of us needing to conduct that poll?
I would recommend getting past this November.
Okay.
As you all may know now, the governor is looking at a redistricting measure this November. There's already a lot of mail and stuff, communications out about that. I would let that pass from this November, and we take a look at polling in January. It doesn't mean that we couldn't start communications and start, talking to groups of people, especially key community members, about the potential for doing that, because I think that would be a wise idea before we poll anyway.
More question? Okay. You have more to present?
I do not. Thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to helping you in the future.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Let's go to 11B, Major M update. I would like to turn it over to the Superintendent, Dr. Territory and Dr. Choi to update the board on the progress and the current standing of Major M.
Thank you, President Chang and members of the board, Student Board Member Rowan, and members of the executive team. I appreciate the opportunity to provide an informational update on the progress of the Measure M bond program. With so many projects and tasks moving forward concurrently, this report is an important opportunity to keep both the board and our community well informed. Superintendent Dr. Delatorre, our bond program manager, CJ Nolan, and I have continued to meet regularly with the board subcommittee consisting of Board President Chang and Board Vice President Gill to provide updates and to receive feedback. We also keep the broader community informed through the Measure M webpage on our district website. In addition, our new public information officer, Andrea Fox, will play a critical role in communicating updates and ensuring our community remains aware of bond developments as they move into the active phase. At our last board meeting, CJ provided an update on the major construction and early impact projects. We were pleased to have that opportunity to discuss and gather your input. This evening, we are presenting the next step in that process, the Measure M implementation plan. The plan outlines our overall bond program strategy, highlights the guiding principles, and details the proposed project phases, including schedule and budget considerations. It will also provide context as later tonight, we will be bringing forward recommendations for action on architectural services and on financial management software to ensure accurate and transparent tracking of Measure M financials. At this time, I would like to invite CJ to present the implementation plan and share our progress to date along with the next steps ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Choi. Good evening, President Chang, members of the board, Superintendent De La Torre, and the community. I'm here tonight to walk us through the Measure M bond program implementation plan. Now, this implementation plan is going to serve as the roadmap to ensure that we are maximizing the Measure M dollars for students today and well into the future. So to start us off, I'd like to go over our bond program strategy, which is primarily sectioned into three components. The first component would be the phased implementation. So our Measure M bond program right now is phased into 3 defined phases, executing on that 138 million of Tier 1 priorities that was developed by the Facility Advisory Committee. This leaves approximately 66 million, or 1/3 of the bond program, left for cost escalation, interim housing, and other unforeseen conditions. The second component that we have is our strategic sequencing. So we are front-loading our high cost escalation-prone projects and sequencing construction around new permanent space to reduce reliance on temporary or interim housing. The third component is supplemental funding, pursuing approximately 22 million in state school facility program modernization fund eligibility and pursuing other state grant opportunities. We plan to extend Measure M's reach and impact to all of our students. So with these three strategies combined, it reflects the district's commitment to transparency, fiscal responsibility, and long-term educational excellence. So starting us off with our guiding principles, the first principle we have is the prioritized project selection. As I mentioned earlier, our projects are sequenced based on the Tier 1 and Tier 2 priorities identified by the Facility Advisory Committee and in the facilities master plan. The second principle that we have that we've received a lot of feedback from our sites, the board, and the community is making sure that we minimize our disruption to the sites. Our construction is phased to limit impact with work concentrated during off-peak periods when possible and starting our construction projects during the summers so that we are logistically able to create an isolated construction environment. The third principle we have is our strategic bundling. So our projects are grouped to improve bidding competitiveness, reduce escalation, and limit interim housing needs. These projects are typically grouped by trade-specific scopes or maybe even sites. Furthermore, we're trying to capitalize on early wins with this in Measure M. This is identifying projects with reduced design durations or no DSA review and provide faster, visible improvements to the community. And the last principle we have is our program flexibility. Our program is designed to remain responsive to changing conditions, including funding availability, market volatility, and our district needs as a whole. So to start us off with our 3 phases, we have our project phasing overview. I'm going to take us through each phase. Our first phase that we have, ranging from the years 2025 to 2028, is our immediate priorities and our high value projects. This phase targets our high impact, high cost tier 1 projects that are most vulnerable to cost escalation. This phase is structured to deliver early wins and provide interim housing to set the stage for future work. So if you recall, the $66 million that was set aside of the bond program is for escalation, interim housing, and other unforeseen issues. So this phase is really trying to capture the most of that $66 million as we can. And that continues on into phase 2, which is from the time period 2029 to 2033. This time, phase 2 consists of our elementary and middle school modernizations. This phase focuses on the full modernizations of our elementary and middle school campuses, coordinated through available interim housing and classroom capacity gained from phase 1. So the projects that are slated for phase 1 will provide that additional classroom space that will be needed for the modernizations in phase 2. Our final phase, phase 3, is 2034 and beyond. This is our final tier 1 projects and our tier 2 evaluation. So in phase 3 is where we're able to reassess, reevaluate where we have additional bond funds that have been saved over the phase 1 and phase 2 projects. And we can see where we stand for the additional tier 2 projects at San Marino High School. Those mostly consisting of athletics facilities or performing arts center upgrades. Phase 3 also delivers on our final set of tier 1 projects for Valentine Elementary School, which includes our non-classroom spaces such as our NPR and our food services building. Beyond just these 3 phases, we have our early impact and standalone projects. Now, these projects are smaller scale, trade specific, and non-prioritized projects that can really be implemented at any time where funding, schedule, or site conditions allow. These projects can be incorporated opportunistically either as standalone scopes or as part of larger bundled efforts. So moving forward, I wanted to jump into the detail of phase 1 because that is the first phase coming up for the Measure M bond program. So phase 1, our scheduled detail, it includes 3 major projects. So the first project we have is the Valentine Elementary School new 2-story classroom building. This classroom building consists of 7 general education classrooms, 4 elective lab spaces, a wellness center, exterior shade structure, and other support areas. The second major project for phase 1 is our Carver Elementary School new TK kindergarten classroom buildings. This project consists of 5 new TK classrooms, 2 new kindergarten classrooms, and 3 modernized kindergarten classrooms with additional new shaded play areas for each. And our third major project we have scheduled for phase 1 is San Marino High School Medical Arts Classroom Building Modernization. This project is a modernization of an existing aging building at the high school. And it houses key CTE programs, including medical arts, robotics, and career pathways. The upgrades for this project will include ADA upgrades, additional perimeter security fencing to make use of classroom spaces that are currently not being used. And it will provide new interior finishes, upgraded technology, and some interior reconfiguration to meet our instructional needs. Beyond these three major projects, we also have our early impact and standalone projects. Now, as I mentioned earlier, these projects can be implemented opportunistically and they have a much shorter construction duration than our phase one projects. And let me backtrack a little bit to our major projects. As you can see on the schedule on the right-hand side, each of these major projects is going to be following a similar design, construction, and closeout schedule, with the design being able to begin pending board approval with tonight's architectural agreements. We have construction slated to begin summer of 2026 and completing around the summer of 2028. With this scheduling, once construction is started in phase one, we're going to be able to start the design process for phase two as well. So it'll allow us to roll construction straight from phase one into phase two projects. Moving back towards our early impact and standalone projects, we have our playground replacements at Valentine Elementary School and Carver Elementary School, along with a shade structure at Carver Elementary School. At San Marino High School, we have synthetic turf and track replacements and stadium and baseball field light fixture replacements as well. We are also working on an immediate stadium restroom refresh, which we are currently requesting proposals for right now. And then lastly, we have our district-wide roof replacements that will be ongoing throughout phase one and phase two of the bond program. So financially, phase one really represents approximately $70 million of investment from our bond. Starting off with our major projects, we have our new two-story classroom building, which has a construction budget of approximately $21.9 million. That includes that also has a soft cost budget of approximately $5.6 million and a projected contingency savings of $6.7 million. The next project we have is our Carver Elementary School new TK kindergarten classroom buildings. This has a construction budget of approximately $15 million and a projected contingency savings of $3.7 million. And lastly, we have our San Marino High School Medical Arts classroom building modernization, which has a construction budget of approximately $14.1 million and an estimated contingency savings of $6.1 million. So this estimated contingency savings is calculated using that amount of the 1/3 of the bond program that will not be spent towards interim housing or on escalation. So that is one of the reasons we are prioritizing these high value projects that also add classroom space for our modernizations. On our early impact and standalone projects, we have several projects that total approximately $6.5 million, starting with our playground replacement, estimated at about $1.2 million. Valentine Elementary School and our Carver Elementary School playground replacement and shade structure at approximately $2.2 million. The stadium and baseball light fixture replacement at San Marino High School is approximately $200,000, and our synthetic turf and track replacement is about $1.77 million. And lastly, our stadium restroom refresh project is valued at or estimated to cost about approximately $150 million. So with the end of phase one, we are projected to have an overall contingency savings of $16.5 million. Now, this provides us additional flexibility as we move into phase two to prioritize other standalone or other impact projects as those needs arise. All right, looking at our overall progress and next steps, We are currently in the contract phase. If you see at the bottom of this slide, really we have the flow of how these construction projects will go, starting with our contract phase, in a design phase, and lastly our construction phase. In order to get our major projects moving, we are advancing this evening 2 architectural agreements. For Valentine Elementary School, we are still in active negotiations with our architectural firm to really make sure they are the best fit for San Marino Unified. At Carver Elementary School, we are recommending West Group Designs for approval for our architectural firm. West Group is a local Southern California architectural firm with a strong track record of successfully completing fast-track projects and assisting districts in obtaining additional funding. They are client-focused, regionally based, and are well known for delivering thoughtful designs on time and on budget. For the San Marino High School Medical Arts Classroom building modernization, we are recommending Huckabee. Huckabee, formerly known as Racklin Architects out of Los Angeles, California, brings decades of local experience in school and community projects. One of the real strengths of this team is their ability to deliver out-of-the-box solutions during modernization projects. Modernization projects, as you may know, always come with surprises, whether it be aging infrastructure, unforeseen conditions, or just the shifting compliance requirements seen from our authorities having jurisdiction, like the Division of the State Architect. Huckabee's team has a track record of navigating these complexities creatively. They look at how to adapt spaces rather than just replace them, and they often uncover ways to meet program needs while keeping costs contained. With the board's approval tonight, these 2 contracts will allow us to launch design work immediately. Lastly, on the financial side, we are recommending the adoption of Key Analytics, which is a bond accounting software. This is to ensure strong transparency and reporting at our Citizens Bond Oversight Committee meetings. The software is purposely built for school districts and bond programs, offering modern and comprehensive web-based tracking, flexible long-term reporting, and robust reporting reports and templates for Citizens Bond Oversight Committee. With our first meeting with our Citizens Bond Oversight Committee on September 18th, Key Analytics will be presenting several options of financial reporting that we will be using through the remainder of the bond. In addition to this, we have several active requests for proposals. This is for survey, underground utility detection, and geotechnical services. These are professional services that will be needed immediately as part of the design process. And then following with that, we have our upcoming requests for qualifications. Some of these are our general contractor leaseback, which is a little bit more of an involved process. But if we are able to use the leaseback award method for our general contractors, we'll be able to mitigate change orders and achieve a guaranteed maximum price for our construction projects. Going down the list, we also have our inspector of record and our testing labs, and then our California Environmental Quality Act consultant, or CEQA. So with that, that concludes my presentation on the Measure M initial implementation plan. And our plan is really about maximizing our bond dollars for all of our students, sequencing our projects in a logical format, and maintaining flexibility for the duration of the bond. And with that, I'm open for any questions, comments.
Any question?
Have you looked into some standalone projects for HMS?
Yeah, we have looked at some of them, but primarily we have the modernization, and with it being so close to Valentine, we could probably look further if we want to incorporate one of those into phase 1. Originally, the roof replacements that said district wide, we were planning that for the Huntington Middle School because it seemed to sequence well
with Valentine ongoing as well.
Are you considering any solar panel, anything like that when you do roof? Or?
So for the we do have preliminary solar designs at all of our sites, but specifically for the Carver Elementary School playground replacement and shade structure, we're looking to make that shade structure potentially a solar shade structure and kind of dual purposing that.
I don't think we touched on the Carver update to the drop off.
Yeah, we did over the summer, we did do some minor repairs to the Carver Elementary School drop off. And that work is complete. I just didn't add it on here because it was such a low dollar amount. And from talking to the site administration, I believe improvements have been seen from that work. And I think it will only be furthered if we're able to create a new drop off for kindergarten and TK as part of that first phase 1 major project.
Great, thank you.
Okay. If we don't have a more question, and thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Very comprehensive. Yeah. Okay. Next, C 2025 to 2026 opening of the school report. I would like turning over to Dr. Lina Richter.
Thank you, President Chang, members of the board, Student Board Member Rowan, Superintendent Dr. Delatorre, and Executive Cabinet. Tonight it's my pleasure to share with you a very successful opening of schools this year. This could not have been accomplished without the collective work of each and everyone that makes up our San Marino Unified School District community. Our community has worked extremely hard to help welcome our students to the 25-26 school year. To kick off the new school year, on August 7th, San Marino Unified welcomed new classified and certificated professionals with a new professionals orientation facilitated by Dr. Rose and the HR department. The day included a welcome by our board president, Mr. Chang, department leads, school and union leadership, PTA, San Marino Police Department, and other various district partners. A presentation on school safety was also presented by Mr. Peter Crabb. And there's the agenda for the day. The following day, on August 8th, new teachers participated in iReady and NWEA/IXL formative assessment training facilitated by Educational Services TOSA's Danielle Blatchley and Penny Roberts. This training was provided to new teachers for an overview of the diagnostic assessments for students in grades K through 5, being iReady, and 6 through 12, NWEA and IXL, to best support individualized academic achievement. A huge thank you to our TOSAs, Danielle and Penny, for supporting our new teachers on this day. And these are just some pictures of that day. On Monday, August 11th, all San Marino Unified School District gathered together for a district-wide morning professional learning session focused on AI literacy. This session was facilitated by Kate Tonai, a former teacher and AI expert. Upon conclusion of the PD session, staff then returned to their respective school sites to engage in their first faculty meeting of the year and initial data inquiry cycles. I wanted to say thank you to our Director of Technology, Kwok Hong, and David Basolto for helping put this morning's professional learning opportunity together. Lastly, on Tuesday, August 12th, all staff were invited to our traditional welcome back breakfast at Huntington Middle School, where an SMUSD team draft was conducted by Dr. Rose and Human Resources, welcoming new professionals with a personalized SMUSD jersey. Staff then returned to their respective schools to prepare their classrooms and campuses to welcome students to the new school year. So as we geared up prior to the first day of start of school, we had a very, very busy few days preparing our our teachers, our staff, to welcome our students. And now to share a little bit more about this exciting new school year, I would like to invite up our wonderful principals and assistant principals to share about their opening of schools for their specific school sites. And I'd like to start with our Valentine Elementary principal, Miss McAlpine.
Good evening, Board President, Mr. Chang, esteemed board members, Dr. De La Torre, and members of the executive team. It is a true honor to be here this evening on behalf of Valentine Elementary, and I'm also joined by our assistant principal, Samantha Parison. I am delighted to share with you the remarkable start we have had this school year. The energy on campus these past few weeks have been filled with joy, laughter, and most importantly, the smiles of our 725 students as they walk through our gates on the first day of school. Those smiles are a daily reminder of why we do this work and of the special role Valentine plays in our community. This year, we were fortunate to welcome several new members to our team. Our new shared assistant principal, Mrs. Parison, has already hit the ground running, supporting students, collaborating with teachers, and building meaningful relationships with families. We are also proud we opened a new transitional kindergarten class supported by a wonderful new teacher and 2 dedicated instructional TK assistants. This expansion to 4 TK classes ensures that our youngest learners have a strong foundation as they begin their educational journey. In addition, 6 new teachers have joined our Viking faculty this year, spanning grade levels and specialties, 2nd grade, 5th grade, special education, art, and intervention. Their passion, expertise, and enthusiasm have already enriched our community, and alongside them, our support staff has also grown. We now have new special education paraprofessionals, a kindergarten instructional aide, a noon duty playground supervisor, an ELD instructional aide, and a new custodian. Each of these individuals plays a vital role in ensuring that our students not only learn, but thrive in a safe and supportive environment. The excitement of the new school year has been felt beyond the classroom as well. Our Popsicle Social, our TK and Kindergarten Welcome Wagon event, and parent orientations provided opportunities for families to connect and get excited for the start of the school year. Our Coffee with the Principal gathering brought back familiar faces, and the energy in the room reflected the strong and positive school culture that we cherish at Valentine. Our enrichment programs are already in full swing, providing students with a well-rounded and engaging learning experience. Students are participating in PE, art, music, library, and social emotional learning lessons led by our dedicated counselor. And we are especially thrilled to continue enhancing our science curriculum this year through STEM lessons, thanks to the generous support of our PTA, under the leadership of our 2nd-term PTA president, Kim Sutantio. It has been inspiring to watch students explore, problem solve, and create with curiosity and confidence. Our parents and families continue to be vital partners in this work that we do, volunteering in classrooms, the library, the art studio. Their presence and dedication remind our students that education is truly a shared community mission. At Valentine, we remain steadfast in our focus on school safety and wellness. We know that for children to learn, they must feel safe, supported, and cared for. And on August 21st, we welcomed families to back to school night, and I'm proud to share that participation was outstanding. Our classrooms were filled with parents eager to learn about academic goals, classroom expectations, and ways they can partner with us throughout the year. That evening also served as a clear reminder that education is most powerful when schools and families work hand in hand. Valentine Elementary is truly a special place, and it's a place where students are encouraged to be curious, kind, and resilient. And it's a place where teachers inspire a love of learning every single day. It's also a place where family, staff, and the broader community come together to ensure that every child has the opportunity to succeed. And so we are incredibly proud to be Vikings, and we look forward to all that this year will bring. With the continued support of the Board of Education, our dedicated staff, and our engaged families, we're confident that Valentine Elementary will continue to provide an exceptional educational experience for every student who walks through our doors. So thank you all for your time, your leadership, and your ongoing commitment to our school and our students at Valentine.
Good evening, Dr. De La Torre, President Chang, esteemed board members and cabinet members. It is my great pleasure to share about Carver School opening for the 2025-2026 school year. Of particular note, Whitney and I, as she shared, are elated to have a shared assistant principal, Samantha Parison, who, as Whitney stated, has already proven exceptionally helpful at both of our elementary schools. Thank you for your insight and wisdom in adding this level of support to our growing elementary schools. Carver opened its doors this year to an enrollment of over 800 students. They were smiling and joyous from the moment they stepped onto our campus. Enrollment of over 800 students is tangible and unprecedented growth, which is great for our district and for our school. To respond to our growth, we made some structural and procedural changes that help Carver to feel like a small school for our students, staff, and families. One of the changes is our implementation of a split recess. Splitting recess in two provides for 310 students at the first recess and 330 students at the second recess. Under one recess, we had 640 kids out there at one time. We have also adjusted our lunch schedule such that we don't have more than 2 grades levels on the blacktop for lunch recess at any one time. This means that there are fewer than 260 students on the playground for any one lunch recess. Both of these schedule changes help to enhance our school's safety. Having fewer students competing for the playground resources at any one time helps to keep everyone calmer and happier. It also makes it much easier for our staff to supervise and to interact with students during these non-classroom times. Why, you may ask, am I sharing about these things on the front end of this great meeting? Carver is proud to be a bronze PBIS award-winning school. We applied for platinum this past year at the urging of the LACO assessor. I spoke to the board about that previously and look forward to finding out the results of that application in the coming month. PBIS is all about creating opportunities for our students to succeed, recognizing when they meet our behavioral expectations, and responding and redirecting to them when they have challenges. Adjusting our recess and lunch schedules helps to preserve the small school feel of Carver, and it creates more opportunities for students to engage in healthy, happy play with less playground competition. Carver students know the gold standard. That is, they give respect, they own their actions with kindness, and they do their best. As one of the top academic elementary schools in the nation, we don't ever want to sit on our laurels at Carver. We are looking forward to continuing our non-judgmental learning walks this year with 3 such walks scheduled. We know the value of having opportunities to enter each other's classrooms as learning experience and proudly have a robust UDL team stepping up to engage in that work. We'll be continuing to hone and embed our small group instruction at all grade levels this year as a means of helping us to meet the individual needs of our students through strategic differentiation of instruction. To help us in this work, we'll be engaging in data inquiry cycles 3 times this year. This process, whereby teachers will be closely analyzing and monitoring their students' progress and needs so that they can respond to the same. I would be remiss if I did not speak about our amazing PTA and community support. Carver epitomizes what it means to be a community school. As we all know, Carver's PTA raised a record amount of funds last year. That money pays for field trips for all of our students, supports our music program for all of our students, and our amazing library. I know that Valentine's looking forward to having one from the bond measure. For the first time in some years, STEM lessons for all of our students will be embedded in the academic day. I have the unique problem here as a school principal. If I were to give thanks to all of those who have and continue to help make this happen, we would be here for another hour, and I know nobody would be looking forward to that. How many principals can truly say that? This evening, I give special thanks to our past PTA president, Miss Annie Tang, and her leadership team who continue to give of their time, energy, and resources. I also give special thanks to our 2025-2026 PTA President, Dr. Kathy Newton, and her leadership team. It is through the dedication and support of our robust PTA, as we heard in particular Measure R and Measure M and the upcoming Measure E, coupled with the vision and leadership of our superintendent, our board, that we continue to be a top-performing destination school district. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak briefly about the opening at Carver, and we look forward to having everyone on our campus throughout the school year.
What grade level is the corgi in?
The corgi's
Are we getting?
She doesn't know.
Are we getting revenue from the state for her participation at Carver? Yeah, there you go.
Good evening, Dr. Delatorre, members of the board, student board member Burke, members of the cabinet, and SMUSD community members joining us this evening. My name is Mary Hazlett, and as the proud principal of Huntington Middle School, along with my phenomenal assistant principal, Ms. Michelle Coda, we are excited to share we've had a wonderful start to our new year, with currently 756 students, a new record. Some of the pictures you see on our slide highlight the recent events we've had, including our sixth graders bonding with our new friends during our orientation day, our first day of school decorations provided by our outstanding PTA, creating even more opportunities for that first day of school photo, our new parent orientation hosted by our PTA, some pics from a week full of dress-up days where students collected spirit points for their homeroom classes, athletics tryouts for our fall sports, including flag football, girls volleyball, cross country, and tennis, our new band teacher teaching the themes from The Mandalorian show to his students, students collaborating with one another in class, and our wellness resource announcements to our families. We have 7 new staff members at Huntington, and they've already taken charge and connected with students and staff. They consist of 6th, 7th, and 8th grade teachers, a new band instructor, and a new psychologist. Our clubs and hangouts have started meeting at lunch and include Pokemon, robotics, chess, origami, speech and debate, fantasy sports, crafting corners, Zen Zone, Science Olympiad, JFL, magic, journalism, and more. We have 3 great trips again for our annual outdoor education experience, with 6th graders going to Cuyamaca, 7th graders to the Wolf Camp in El Capitan, and 8th graders attending Pali. Those trips are always scheduled for the early fall semester to allow students the opportunity to have fun and learn about science, team build outside of HMS, and make new friends. And to my knowledge, we are the only middle school to offer outdoor education to all students all 3 years of middle school. This morning, we had our first official PTA meeting led by our new PTA president, Ms. Ryan Zanotti. Parents, if you missed it, please join us next month. It's never too late to attend and join our amazing PTA. The events and opportunities for you to spend time either supporting your kids' activities and sometimes even helping out an event and seeing them enjoy it in person are priceless. This Thursday, August 28th, beginning at 6 p.m. will be our back to school night. If you need a little dinner beforehand, our local favorite Chano's will be selling dinner options starting at 5:30 in the rear blacktop. We also invite all students and families to our annual Hauntington Breakfast PTA School fundraiser on Saturday, October 25th. Mark your calendars now, as we'll have booths, inflatables, and tons of pancakes and performances for everyone. Every year has a theme, and the announcement just this morning is the theme is going to be The Fox and the Furious. Annie.
That's funny.
Is in charge, so it's going to be fantastic. And that's just the first 10 days of school. There's so much to be proud of and excited about at Huntington Middle School. Our academics, arts, athletics, and activities are all top of their class. And we are grateful to our families, student, teachers, and staff, as well as everyone here for making that a consistent reality year after year. Thank you and go Foxes.
Thank you.
And last but not least, our amazing high school.
Thank you, President Chang, members of the board, Dr. Delatorre, and cabinet. I will mirror the sentiments of my colleagues. We've had an amazing beginning to our school year. You can see some of the pictures that are up on the screen there. Beginning with our enrollment, we are at, as of today, 962 students. That is 140 more students than when I started here in the district 2 years ago. So it brings with it some challenges, but for the most part, it is nothing but positive. The larger a high school gets, the more programs that we can have, the more sections of things that we have causing fewer conflicts for students. And I can tell you, Miss Penelora probably isn't as cheerful as I am about that because she's dealing with our master schedule right now and balancing our classes, and she's doing a great job of that. And as we grow, there will be some growing pains, but again, really positive for our students. We added 6 new teachers this year, which is fantastic, and including, as Huntington did, a new band director. And he completed his first successful high school field show at our football game this weekend. I'm sure he's thrilled to get that off of him. He's never done a marching band field show before. So, and it went off great, and we're really happy. And speaking of football, we did have an amazingly successful first football game. However, the game I'm referring to is our girls' flag football game. And that game, our girls won 49-0. Our first day back with staff, we spent working on WASC. This is our accreditation year. So we will be being visited by an accreditation team this March, the middle of March. And so we have been working on that since the middle of last year, and we will continue working on writing our report until probably January of this year when we'll conclude. We spent the afternoon of our PD day beginning to wrap up the analysis section, and the last part that our teachers will have to write is their action plan. That's chapter 5 of the report. And one of the things that we worked on that afternoon was our conversation about one of the things that I have asked the teachers to accept into our action plan, and something that we will be working on all this year, and that is increasing the level of student feedback. That goes along with Hattie's research as well as the UDL section of Clarity. So we are asking our teachers to find ways to provide more usable feedback to their students so that the students can grow when they receive back a test or an assessment or an essay, not just to not look at it again and throw it in the trash, but to actually see valuable comments and rubrics and other areas where that they can say, okay, now I know what to do to improve on the next time I do a similar assignment. So it was a really valuable day, and that will be what our department chairs and leadership team are working on throughout this year as we add that to our action plan. As you can see there, we had our senior breakfast, which is always themed with the grad night theme for the year. And this year it's Star Wars. And our PTA did an amazing job with the breakfast with all the props and other things that they had out there. And I'm excited as a person who was alive in 1977 to that they picked Star Wars, that our students picked the theme. So I'm looking forward to it throughout the year. In fact, I was speaking to Mr. Burke's mother this afternoon, and we were talking about something that we are going to add to grad night, which I am not going to say because it needs to be a surprise for our students, but it is very cool. So if you come to Light Up this year, not only will you hear about that thing that we were talking about today, but you will also see me in a full Darth Vader costume. Our welcome day schedule that we have implemented over the last couple of years, and a big thanks to Mr. Kerr for putting together so much of this. It's really fun. We've really concentrated since changing to block schedule to making the first day of school less stressful and more fun. We had food trucks out. We have our students doing all the work that they do with our older students, mentoring our new incoming freshmen. We only keep our academic classes on that first day to 20 minutes so that it can be more of a get to know each other thing rather than throwing all the hard work and syllabi at them on the first day. So that was very successful. You'll also see one of the pictures up there. That's my shoe, the Titan shoe. That was actually hand painted by Genevieve Fan, one of our juniors, who's also a junior Olympian fencing student. So we have really amazing, eclectic, talented students at San Marino High School. And I always get a lot of kudos from the students when I wear those. They're just not comfortable, so I don't wear them every day. And then finally, with athletics, you heard about our girls' flag football team. I also came from the opening home game of water polo today. We beat Poly 12-10. Boys football was a great start. We played a team with some really big boys on it, and we were tied at halftime, and unfortunately, it got away from us in the second half. But as Ms. Gill stated, it was very spirited. We had a lot of students come. And what Mrs. Gill didn't say is that she also participated in the whiteout outfit. So thank you. Thank you very much, Mrs. Gill, for showing your school spirit. And finally, this is the last year of the Rio Hondo League. We had our first Rio Hondo League meeting this year. And this will be a very interesting year as we kind of say goodbye to decades worth of traditions and hopefully open ourselves up to a lot of new traditions as we merge with the Pacific League next year and form a larger athletic conference that hopefully we've all heard a lot of the negatives with that, but hopefully the positives will end up being really good for us. And that means the opportunity to have more competitive equity by re-leaguing within the conference each year with teams that have similar records to ourselves. So we will be spending this year working with the Pacific League on all of the writing a new constitution, working on the schedules, transportation, et cetera. And I'm going to end with wanting to thank Dr. Choi. Dr. Choi and I met a couple days ago on our budget, and we actually did work out a way to fund our athletic transportation for this year. So thank you very much, Dr. Choi, for that. And also, if I didn't say it in the beginning, thank you to our school board members for recognizing our increase in enrollment and adding Dr. Hill to our team. She has jumped in and fit in beautifully, and we're really appreciative to have our wonderful team and staff. And that's the end of my report. Thank you.
Okay, before we go to next agenda, any question to each school site administrator?
Just thank you for
Okay.
stayed
Just
for a long day.
thank you and thank you. Okay, next goes to
You guys don't have to
11D
stay.
AP
You don't have to stay.
data update.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would like to turn it over to Assistant Principal Sarah Penarora.
Thank you. Thank you, Board President Chang. Thank you. Esteemed board members, Dr. De La Torre, and our executive cabinet, thank you so much. I'm here to present information on our AP data from last year, last May. All of our students took their AP exams, and so I'm going to share with you their performance and how proud we are as a school and as a district that our kids do so well and that our teachers are so excellent. Okay. Just this. Okay. All right. So I just wanted to share with you some data to make you all proud the way that we're proud at our school. I wanted to share with you just kind of an oversight for all the board members so that you can see the feeder honors classes that we have that move into our AP classes. It says the 25-26 school year, but this was the same as last year. And last year we added the AP research because it's a capstone. So we folded in our AP seminar the year before, and AP research followed. And all of those students did quite well. Some of you came out to their projects last year and saw these wonderful presentations presentations from our students and their research. So it was wonderful. But as you can see, we do offer a comprehensive program filled with all the the AP classes that other schools in our areas have. In fact, in some cases, more than our other area schools. Okay. All right. I just wanted to show you a 5-year data report, which indicates that last year we scored a 93% pass rate, and that 93% pass rate moved down slightly by 0.5% this year, but we're not phased by that whatsoever. It's a 0.5%, and look at what we did. We gained 138 more exams, 38 more students. We also had an increase in our pass rate, and so we're completely proud of everything that our kids are doing. If you can see, California is actually the 6th of the top pass rates of the entire nation, and California has a 28% pass rate. Nationwide, the pass rate is 22%. So we are 70% above the nation's top. So we are really contributing to that high California percentage there. So moving forward, I know that this is difficult to see, but I wanted to share with you that we had 17 classes with a pass rate of 90 to 99%. 17 of our classes. We had 5 teachers, and actually 5 classes that were at the 100% pass rate. So not one of them got below a 3, and I'll show you that at the end. But you can see there are a few that you might say, why is there a 67%? These are students choose to take an exam, and we don't teach that exam, but these are our students. So I just wanted to share with you that these aren't classes that we do teach, but that the students have opted to take. Otherwise, you see 90s, 99s, 100s, and we are very proud of what our students and our staff prepare our students to do. So you can see we had 516 students. This is a breakdown of the number of students that we had. We have our freshman class took 29. Our 10th graders were 167. 11th is 180, and 143 12th graders. I want to tell you that we have 171 freshmen right now. So we see that the projection is that more and more of our students will be taking more of our honors and AP classes. So we're excited about the growth of our community, and I am working on the master schedule to balance things. So it's quite a project, but we're so happy, so pleased at the increase of our staff members, the people that we've gained, the staff members that we've gained, and how we're growing. I also wanted to share with you that we have several, actually 55%, oh, sorry, we're not doing this. 55% of our AP test takers earned an AP Scholar Honors Award. So not only are we succeeding 70% above the national pass rate, but then more than half of our students are earning higher credentials and being recognized as AP scholars with honors, and AP scholars with distinction, especially. We do have some international diploma applicants who earned their way to that accolade. And then we have the AP capstone diplomas, which are wonderful, as well as an AP seminar and research certificate. There are different qualifications in the blue circle. It's difficult to see, but if you read that, you will be, again, beaming with pride for our San Marino High School students. And even though it has not come out yet, last year we were Platinum Award honor roll winners, and we expect to do that this year, but I can't shout out that until we actually get the College Board say so. The year before that, we were gold. We met the gold criteria, and but we expect to be platinum this year. And then I just wanted to do a shout out for our 5 classes. Actually, there's 6 because there's 2D art and drawing, as well as chemistry, Chinese, English language and composition, and the pre-calculus, the AP pre-calculus class, all 100% pass rates. This is really amazing, and it's wonderful to see this in our teachers, our students. They work very hard, and we want to honor them. So thank you very much, and that's my report. Thank you.
Any question? I have a question. So how our performers will reach to each college for their as a reference later when they trying to recruit a student, so then we will be the in the priority for the consideration.
Oh, if colleges look at our pass rate and look at our students get into amazing colleges. I absolutely think that this experience, their high pass rates and their scores, and even the fact that they're taking multiple AP classes and multiple honors classes. And some of our students are coming in from HMS having already taken geometry, and so then they move into the Algebra 2, and then they're primed to take higher level classes. So colleges do look at our students. Our students are performing well, and we have great expectations for their success in after our high school. So thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
When did freshmen start taking AP?
When geometry opened, no, they our freshmen are taking. I think a few of them are taking computer science. Some are taking some higher level maths. We do want to make sure that.
Is that
Oh,
okay?
sorry.
College Board created a first freshman specific AP class a couple years ago called geography. We don't offer that because we don't do social studies in 9th grade. But these other classes that are traditionally non-freshman classes are open to advanced freshmen, and they are able. That's why it's 129.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Any more
Okay,
questions?
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Great job. Great job.
Okay, next, let's go to the 11E 2025 to 26 enrollment update. I would like to turn it over to Dr. Lina Richter.
Thank you, President Chang, members of the board, and student board member Rowan, Superintendent Dr. Delatorre, and executive team. Tonight, it is my pleasure to present the board with a brief district enrollment update. As I share tonight's data, it is important to note that enrollment continues to settle similar to last year. It is also likely to fluctuate throughout the course of the year. Data shared this evening captures enrollment data as of Friday, August 22nd. The Educational Services Department has really worked hard these past few months processing and monitoring registration for the new school year. I would be remiss if I did not personally thank our district registrars, Claudia Velasquez, Wendy Chan, as well as our community liaison, Brenda Chang, who really have worked tirelessly and continue to support our families throughout the year. We are so grateful for each and every one of them. The excitement of the new school year can also be seen in our enrollment data as we review the past 5 years. Unlike many districts in the state and even nationwide, San Marino Unified School District continues to demonstrate strong enrollment trends over the recent years. District-wide enrollment data as of Friday, August 22nd, shows a total district enrollment of 3,242 students, an overall increase of 50 students from the end of the 24-25 school year. Enrollment for the start of the 25-26 school year when compared to the end of last year shows that San Marino High School demonstrated a growth of 73 additional students. Huntington Middle School demonstrated a growth of 14 additional students. Valentine demonstrated a slight decline of 33 students, and Carver demonstrated a slighter decline of only 4 students. This slight decline in our elementary schools may possibly reflect the enrollment bubble that we had in our elementary schools in the past couple of years as they move up through the grades and into the secondary levels. On this slide, we see Carver and Valentine's enrollment trends over the past 5 years, with both elementary schools demonstrating a strong increase in enrollment over the past 4 years, with a slight decline from the end of the 24-25 school year to the start of the 25-26 school year. This year, as the principals have shared, we've added an additional 5th grade classroom at Carver Elementary, an additional transitional kindergarten at Valentine Elementary. As of today, both schools are currently at capacity.
May I ask a question? Real quick? Does that account for the end of the school year to the beginning? Our fire impacted students went back to their home districts?
Yes, this accounts for those students that remained with us as well as the ones that had gone back to their home district. Correct.
I mean, accounting for the decrease just a little bit.
For the elementary?
Yeah.
It could, absolutely. Here on this slide, we see the same data for Huntington Middle School and San Marino High School, both demonstrating continued growth into the 25-26 school year. Again, at HMS, adding an additional 14 students, and at the high school, adding 73 additional students. Since 2021-2022, enrollment has continued to remain strong for both of these secondary schools, with an increase of 129 students overall for HMS and 86 students at San Marino High School. This concludes the presentation. The district is pleased to see positive growth in overall enrollment and excited to have welcomed our students to the 25-26 school year. And I'm happy to answer any questions that the board may have at this time.
Any question?
Thank you.
Okay, in the meantime, Mr. Burke, is 9 p.m. If you like to excuse, it's okay. Yeah, you have a homework or.
This is fun.
Oh, okay.
Okay, see how this works.
Okay.
It's informative.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, next we are going to 12 action item. 12A, I like to turn it over to Superintendent Dr. Delatorre for approval of the board governance handbook.
Thank you, President Chang, members of the board, including our student board member, executive team. I am going to take you through just a summary of the San Marino Unified School District Board of Education Governance Handbook. As you will recall, this was presented to the Board of Education on 12th of this month. And I will take you through some of the elements of the handbook. And we did take into consideration the feedback that we received from the Board of Education during the last meeting. And this is standing before you as an action item this evening. So we start with the unity of purpose and core norms. Unity of purpose being high quality, equitable education for every student, effective governance, emphasizing policy, result, and community trust. Meeting norms, we want to place students first. We talked about shared responsibility. We want to stay on focused on our goals, and of course, engage in respectful discourse at all times. Going to the next slide, we have roles and responsibilities. The board's roles are to establish the mission and vision for the school district and to establish goals. The school board adopts policy and approves budgets, monitors outcomes and accountability, and governs as a body, meaning that individuals have no individual authority. You have to come together with a majority of the board in order to make decisions. The superintendent is the chief executive managing our operations, and it is the superintendent's job to implement board policy and manage personnel. It is the superintendent's job to advise the board with timely, accurate information and to resolve issues at the lowest possible level. There is a more expanded version of this, by the way, that will be sent to the Board of Education that goes a little bit deeper into each of these. Board superintendent operating agreements, and this was agreed to at the Board of Education strategic planning session that was held at the Huntington Library on June 9th and 10th. So this outlines what the board needs from the superintendent, what the superintendent needs from the board in order to maximize the efficacy of our leadership. Going to the next slide, we have Brown Act meeting requirements, which the expanded version will go more in depth into all of these important areas. It will talk about open meetings. All board meetings are open to the public and properly noticed, with limited exceptions for closed session. Serial communications, we want to make sure we're avoiding serial communications, which is a majority of the board, either engaging in email, text, or social media. I don't believe that's an issue with our board. Our board has been very well trained on those issues. And then we wanted to emphasize closed session confidentiality. And at the bottom, you see the little note, board members are legally obligated to maintain the confidentiality of closed session discussions. And this would apply to anybody who is attending a closed session meeting, including myself as superintendent and our executive team, or anybody else who happens to participate in closed session meetings. Communication protocols, which we actually approved in 2023. I did review that document and I combined it with the agreement that we reached through the facilitation of CSBA, Dr. Sapita Yao, at our session on the 9th. Board superintendent updates. We talked about information requests, speaking as one voice when decisions are made, even when somebody personally disagrees. Once a majority of the board has come to agreement on any particular item, we agree that we will all support that decision going forward in the public. Information requests and media coordination. So if any member of the Board of Education is contacted by a member of the media, the board will reach out to the superintendent for the handling of that and the board president. Community engagement and site visits. We have an agreement on this that is committed to writing that is longstanding now. We will engage our community. We will engage student and staff. We will create advisory groups with feedback loops and make sure that materials and translation services are available for any of the members of the public who are disabled and may need them. We have school site visit protocol. We annually will reach out to the Board of Education and ask if you would like to go on at least one walkthrough of each school site. If you as a board member have been invited to go to a school site, we have an agreement that says that you'll notify the superintendent, coordinate schedules and purpose, avoid evaluative conversations with any of our employees that may occur while you're visiting, or perhaps at a public event at each of the schools. And then, of course, debrief with the superintendent after these conversations take place. And this is sort of just a little matrix of handling complaints and concerns, starting with step 1, initial contact. Board member informs superintendent, avoids promising outcomes or adjudicating matters. Step 2 is at the site level. We want to make sure that we're managing complaints at the lowest possible level, as mentioned before. So the superintendent would refer the complaint back to the appropriate site or department, relying on the chain of command that is in place and the hierarchy. We want to make sure that we're communicating these complaints and issues as expeditiously as possible because we want to get back to the complainant within at least 24 hours of them making their complaint. And then step 3 is just following our formal complaint process. We have board policies on complaints. We have a uniform complaint procedure. We have Williams complaints, and of course we have Title IX, which our staff is trained in. And I'm sorry, I woke up this morning with a sore throat, so my voice is fading in and out. So I apologize in advance for that. Hopefully I can speak clearly and enunciate. Decision-making, monitoring, and professional learning. This just shows you how this process works. The Board of Education sets the goals, and then we monitor the progress of those goals throughout the year. And then the Board of Education is committed to continuous learning. We have a policy that says, as mentioned, that every member of our Board of Education will participate in and complete the Masters in Governance training through CSBA, Brown Act workshops, and new trustee orientation which the district provides. And then the Board of Education will also evaluate the performance of the superintendent annually, and you've got a really good system for doing that, which we are grateful for, in a timely manner. And then there's annual review and commitment. We talked about providing training for and having accountability components in place for transparency and records. In the event that we get a California Public Records Act request, we can respond to those if a record exists. Sometimes people may ask for things that don't exist, and under the laws, we're not required to produce that. So it has to be a public record that is in existence. We don't have to create something where nothing exists. And then review and renew the handbook annually at the board. Strategic planning, or sooner if the laws change, we would be updating that. And a board attestation, which means that every board member will review and sign off that they agree to these communication norms and protocols. And then on the next page, I have the annual commitment attestation form, which basically says that the undersigned members of the Board of Education affirm their commitment to uphold the principles and protocols outlined in the governance handbook, and that you pledge to govern with integrity, transparency, and a unified purpose, always prioritizing the best interests of our students and community, which is something that the board felt very strongly about at our strategic planning. So with that, I would like your approval for the San Marino Unified School District Board of Education Governance Handbook.
Any question before we take action? If none, let's have a motion.
Move to approve.
Any second?
Second.
Roll call, Mr. Song.
Aye.
Mrs. Ryan.
Aye.
Mrs. Gill.
Aye.
Mr. Chen, aye. Student Board Member Book.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carried. Let's go to 12B. I'd like to turn it over to Superintendent Dr. Territory for the 2025 to 2026 Board of Education and Superintendent goal.
Thank you, President Chang, members of the Board of Education, executive team. First of all, I would like to welcome you back to the 25-26 school year. We have so many things to be proud of, and we're so excited about the work that we have before us this year, of course, including the bond, Measure M, that passed last November, which is going to take up a lot of time, but is very valuable and important to our community. As you will recall, and as we just mentioned, the Board of Education met on June 9th and 10th at the Huntington Library to conduct their annual strategic planning. The first day was a facilitation of meeting norms and protocols, and how the board and the superintendent agreed to come together and to do the work that is required of us all. I'd like to share that the Board of Education has 4 goals, and we have an amazing, hardworking Board of Education that is paid a lot of money. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, they're not paid anything. They're volunteers, and they're elected by voters in the city of San Marino and in actually the district boundary areas to really make sure that the school district is advancing in the areas of academics, arts, athletics, and activities, and each of them does a very good job. We have C. Joseph Chang, our president, who has served for 24 years and By the time he's done it, it will be a quarter of a century. So we applaud him for his service. Francesca Gill, our amazing vice president, who is newer to the board, but actually not the newest to the board. So I think of her as a veteran. And then we have Shelley Ryan, who has served 11 years on the Board of Education, and she's currently our clerk, but she's been president at least twice and does a wonderful job of representing all 4 of our schools. Joanna Lamb, who could not be with us this evening, is a member, and she is a mom with children enrolled in our schools, as is Francesca. And Mr. Sung, who is the newest member of our Board of Education, who has 2 sons enrolled in our schools and does a wonderful job representing our schools as well. So as mentioned, on June 9th and 10th, we met with a CSBA facilitator to develop the governance handbook, which you all just approved and acknowledged for the 25-26 year. And then on June 10th, I facilitated a goal setting session with the Board of Education, wherein we developed the 4 goals. From June 11th to June 13th, the superintendent, executive team, principals, and directors engaged in professional development and strategic planning. The first day of that event really focused on AI literacy. We know we're going to be doing a lot of work around artificial intelligence this year with the establishment of a community-wide AI task force that will be ran by Kwa Kwong, our Director of Technology. And we're excited about that coming together. And the second and third day was really focused on having the school sites and departments develop their action plans, which are aligned to the Board of Education's 4 goals. And so that was a very fruitful and productive 3 days that we spent with our team. So the process begins in June when the board develops their goals. In June, the superintendent and leadership team develop action plans aligned with the board's goals. In August, the superintendent presents the board goals, and hopefully the board will adopt their goals, which is happening this evening. September through October, we have each of the principals come forward and present their individual school's action plan that is aligned with the goals to the Board of Education during a regularly scheduled open session meeting. And then in February, we present to the community the State of the District address, which really gives the community a good sense of where we are as a school district in terms of meeting the board's goals. And then in June, the Board of Education will evaluate the superintendent based on how well the superintendent, the executive team, and the principals and directors have advanced their action plans to align with the board's goals. So what are the board's goals? Well, board goal A is to evaluate and enhance an environment of safety and wellness. Board goal B is to maintain and implement fiscal health and sustainability. Board goal C is to foster community awareness and understanding of the district's mission and vision. And board goal D is to prepare students for postgraduate success. So up here you see basically in bulleted format all of the objectives under each of the goals that the district built the action plans around. So as an example, under board goal A, which is evaluate and enhance an environment of safety and wellness, we have ensuring ongoing process, conducting safety audits, ensuring that special populations have safety protocols, providing training on wellness, mindfulness, and crisis response, evaluating access to healthcare, and providing outside referrals. And that really was focused more on student wellness. And when students express that they're having difficulty, our wellness center, our counselors, our school psychologists are trained to make referrals to counselors and school psychologists, sometimes outside of the school environment, but we can provide those services as well. Classroom conditions, making sure that our campuses are clean and tidy and safe spaces for all of our students. We want to make sure that that is monitored on a regular basis. And it's not limited to restrooms, classrooms, and playgrounds, but certainly that is going to be the focal point of making sure that our campuses are in great condition all the time. Providing parking lot safety, making sure that our parking lots are safe spaces, expanding our camera coverage, as y'all recall. Dr. Choi was able to successfully get a grant for almost $500,000 to replace our camera systems. Most of that work has been done, but we are still looking for opportunities to expand our camera coverage, and we will continue to do that either through donations or the bond project under the category of safety. And then providing more of a customer service approach to our students and parents. We do know that our principals and assistant principals have been asked to be more visible on their campuses, making sure that they're available when students are being dropped off in the morning and when students are being picked up in the afternoon. I'm not going to go over all of these bullets because it'll be too time consuming. And the Board of Education did actually list all of these things out on the 10th, so you know what they are. And you can go through them on the handout that you've been provided. So with that, I wanted to make this presentation as brief as possible because I know that you have all made yourselves very familiar with your goals for this year, but I would like to entertain any questions that any of you may have this evening. No?
The BOGO B,
Mhm.
I forget why we have a host senior lunch.
Yes,
And
yes. Thank you for asking that question. We had talked previously during the board strategic planning about how we want to be more proactive when it comes to educating our community and our senior population on how the school district is funded. Oftentimes we wait until a measure is about to go on the ballot before we start ramping up and educating our community on why we need two parcel taxes and why we need a bond. What we want to do with the hiring of a PIO and with our CBO and me as superintendent and the board is to really engage our community in a conversation about how we are one of the lowest funded school districts in the state of California and why that is and why we need the community's help in making sure that we can bridge that funding gap going forward. So that's why you have that on that item, on that goal. Does that answer your question?
yes.
Okay, great. Any other questions?
Thank you for
You're welcome.
this.
And then the BOGO D develop awareness of a political environment. Well, since this year, you know, the White House, they have, I don't know, for the K to 12, how we can be very neutral and we don't want, you know, it up there for this agenda, and then I'm saying
Yeah.
there's a two-party, yeah. So
Sure. Well, there's actually three,
yeah.
but we're not trying to indoctrinate our students. What we're trying to do is create an awareness so they can decide for themselves based on information and based on facts and our history. And that helps students to engage in critical thinking. And in order for us to prepare students for postgraduate success, they need to be able to engage in critical thinking and form opinions and decide where they land on either side of the aisle. And we're certainly not trying to persuade them or influence them at all. It's creating awareness, which is something different. And that is, again, something the board came up with when we were talking about how we would go about preparing students for postgraduate success.
Anyone have a more question? Okay, if not, this action item, I need have a motion.
Move to approve.
Any second?
Second.
Roll call. Mr. Song.
Aye.
Mrs. Ryan.
Aye.
Mrs. Gear.
Aye.
Mr. Chen, aye. And the student board member, Book.
Aye.
Motion carry. Thank you. I'm glad tonight we can conclude for BOGO. That's we cannot delay. So we just follow what we agree and then step by step. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Month by month.
Mm-hmm.
It's a process.
Thank you. Next, go to 12C. I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Choi for approval of the 2025 to 26 AB 1200 public disclosure of a collective bargaining agreement. California School Employee Association, CSEA, chapter number 120.
Thank you, President Chang, members of the board, Student Board Member Owen, and executive team. AB 1200 requires California public school districts to publicly disclose the provisions of all new or amended collective bargaining agreements upon ratification. This process ensures fiscal accountability and transparency, supporting our district's long-term stability and commitment to high-quality education. Item 12C tonight is the AB 1200 public disclosure showing the fiscal impact of the 2025-26 agreement with CSEA. The disclosure includes a 2.3% ongoing increase to the salary schedule and a one-time off-schedule 3% payment prior to the 2.3% ongoing increase for unit members who started working in the district on or before September 1st, 2025. This AB 1200 disclosure was also reviewed by the Los Angeles County Office of Education to ensure that the district could meet the required reserves during the term of the agreement. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the AB 1200 disclosure as presented.
Any question? Okay, if none, I need to have a motion.
Move to approve.
Any second?
Second.
Roll call, Mr. Song.
Aye.
Mrs. Ryan.
Aye.
Mrs. Gill.
Aye.
Mr. Chen, aye. And the student board member Book. Motion carry. Thank you. 12D, I would like to turn it over to Dr. Choi to present a architectural service agreement between San Marino Unified School District and the West Group Design for the KL Carver Elementary School new TK and KG classroom building project for approval.
Thank you, President Chang, members of the board, Student Board Member Burke, and executive team. As part of the Measure M program, San Marino Unified School District has identified the Carver New Transitional Kindergarten and Kindergarten Classroom Buildings project as a Phase 1 priority. This project, outlined in the district's facilities master plan, addresses the critical need for additional classroom space at Carver Elementary to accommodate current and projected enrollment growth at the elementary level. An essential step in advancing this project is the selection of an architectural firm to begin the design process. At this time, I would like to invite Mr. CJ Nolan here to provide background on the project and present the rationale for tonight's recommendation.
Thank you, Dr. Choi. Good evening, President Chang, members of the board, Superintendent De La Torre. I am very pleased to recommend West Group Designs for the Carver Elementary School new TK and kindergarten classroom buildings project. West Group has an exceptional administrative team that I have personally worked with over the years, and they have an ability to respond to active situations and provide the answers that contractors need in order to keep projects on time. And they also have creative ideas that have really thought outside of the box to keep budgets contained and also mitigate any additional costs during construction. Because as you know, there may be many unforeseen items that can pop up. So having an architect that is flexible and has a very responsive team is a huge asset. And I fully endorse this recommendation for West Group.
Any question?
Quick
Go ahead.
question. I see that they have provided us with a 5% discount of their services. And so when you receive bills from them, will there be a 5% line item at discount on each one? Because otherwise we're just going to have their hourly rates, and that's what it is.
So it'll be it's 5% below the Office of Public School Construction sliding scale rate. So the purchase order, it will be 5% below that predefined rate by the state. So with that purchase order being at that rate, everything per our architectural agreement is actually billed off a percentage. Those hourly rates that are part of their proposal package would be for additional services beyond what is just in the proposal.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, more question?
So those are estimate costs?
Excuse me?
The one I'm looking at, the 800,000, 988,000, that proposal, is that the estimate cost?
So the way architect agreements typically work is the state has a predefined sliding scale, and it's based off the estimated construction costs for the project. So going from memories, but I believe this project was approximately like 15 million. So when you apply that scale, and it works, that it's exactly right there. So the first 9%, the first 500,000 is at a 9%. The next 500,000 is at 8.5, and so on and so forth. And that's how you would get to your 940,000. And then that's where you see the 5% reduction right there as well.
So it depends on the actual cost of the construction cost, they usually charge the percentages.
Exactly. And then as we go through the design process, we will have a final estimate at the construction documents phase, which is typically right before you submit to DSA for approval. And that is essentially where you will true up with where our estimate is now with a fully designed estimate.
And this is good for services all the way through to see certificate of occupancy,
Yes.
like advisory, all that stuff,
Yep.
document change.
So as I was looking through this, when we're talking about classroom buildings, will we be able to see the size, the square footage? Will we be able to see the various phases? Like, because I'm not seeing, like, I still don't understand. You're talking about a building, and then the square footage and the size. Is that somewhere here where I missed it? I didn't see it?
So with those square footage and the size, that's how we create that initial estimate, which the sliding scale is based off of. The building itself, that initial estimate was from the facilities master plan. And then as we begin design, we'll be able to really refine that. And that's why we have to do a second estimate to true up those costs when we submit to DSA. Okay.
And so when we're talking about managing change orders and the additional costs, how is it being managed? I don't understand how you're managing it.
So typically with change orders, most of the time when that's referred to, it's from general contractors, but there will always be an amendment to an architectural agreement once you get that second estimate, because right now we are really basing that first estimate off of very loose to like no design. It's kind of more of a concept than a full-blown design. So as we get to a full design, we're able to provide a detailed estimate where that cost is going to differ to some degree. And there will always be an amendment to their agreement at that point.
Okay.
Do they usually have like variance, like a 20% up and down or something like that, or?
Yeah, so from our original estimate for this project, which like I said, I believe is 15 million. Typically our architectural contract will have a clause in the agreement that when it comes to bid time, if that bid is not within 10% of that budget, the architect will have to redesign at their cost.
Okay.
So for example, if it was a $15 million budget and it came in at 20 million, that would be beyond that 10% threshold. So they would have to redesign to have us within that.
That's pretty tight, 10%.
And they'll do all the value engineering with the contractor to help our budget along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. So typically value engineering would happen prior to our contractor, but as there's we do at each design phase, we'll do a different estimate. So there's a schematic design, and we usually end that phase with an estimate. Then there's design development phase, and then we'll usually end that phase with the estimate. And then, like I said, the construction documents phase is the final one where we'll end it with the estimate. So we usually, each one of those estimates gets more refined as the process goes, and we're able to make adjustments through our design at that time. So if it was being designed over budget, we would know well ahead of that final construction document estimate.
How do you like this company compared to competition, another competitor?
I have to go to a grand opening for one of their projects that I've worked successfully with them previously, where we experienced some pretty significant soils challenges, which is something that you can't really foresee because until you start digging down. And through their prompt responsiveness, we were able to avoid a probably 3-month delay and complete the project on time and within budget.
Okay.
So next you will arrange a site visit, right? For the, yeah, okay.
I also want to add that we actually have West Group Designs here. We have Shazad and Kenneth from West Group here tonight.
Sorry.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve architectural service agreement between the San Marino Unified School District and the West Group Design for the Carver Elementary School new TK and KG classroom building project? Any second?
Second.
Roll call, Mr. Song.
Aye.
Mrs. Ryan.
Aye.
Mrs. Gear.
Aye.
Mr. Chen, aye. Student board member Book. Aye. Thank you. Motion carry. Next, 12E, I would like to turn it over to Dr. Choi to present a architectural service agreement between San Marino Unified School District and Architect for the San Marino High School Medical Art Classroom Building Modernization Project for approval.
Thank you, President Chang, members of the board, student board member Burke, and executive team. The next item for consideration is the modernization of the San Marino High School Medical Arts Classroom Building. Identified as a high priority project in the district's facilities master plan as a phase 1 project, this initiative addresses the need for modernized learning environments to support our career technical education programs, including the Medical Arts Academy. The project will also incorporate key safety enhancements for the San Marino High School campus. While titled the Medical Arts Classroom Building Modernization Project, the vision extends beyond medical arts. The design will elevate classroom standards with state-of-the-art learning experiences, while also creating flexible instructional spaces adaptable to a wide range of career technical education pathways. Importantly, this project positions the district to leverage state matching funds, aligning with the state's emphasis on expanding career technical education facilities. At this time, I would like to hand it over to CJ Nolan to provide additional background on the project and rationale for this recommendation. And we also have Representative Andrew from Huckabee joining us tonight as well.
So as you know, this is a modernization project, which is slightly different than, actually a lot different than a new construction project. From my experience and the team presented from Huckabee, they are some of the most talented design professionals when it comes to investigating existing conditions, foreseeing what would normally be unforeseen issues, and saving districts a lot of money through that process. In addition to that, the Richard Ingracia, who is one of the principal designers for Huckabee, is extremely creative when it comes to working within the confines of DSA regulation and keeping us within code with keeping the budget in mind, which is a very huge component when you have to make these type of upgrades, because the easiest and most obvious solution is usually always the most expensive as well. So having an architect that's willing to think outside of the box and really work on a modernization project and get you to a solution that both meets your budget and schedule is an exceptional asset to have. And I fully recommend Huckabee for the modernization of the medical arts classroom building.
Any question?
Can you tell me where these pictures were taken from? Which one? Okay. Doritos? Yeah, I've been there. Okay. That's why it looks so familiar. I was just checking. Yeah.
Like that they did Alhambra High School. Mhm.
Cerritos, or I mean, ABC Unified has been undergoing significant modernizations, which speaks to what I was saying.
Have you experienced any challenges with having part of the team out of state?
I have not. Like I said, Huckabee is formerly known as Racklin. They have a full Los Angeles team. It's about as local as you can get, and that team is still fully intact from when I have worked with them previously as Racklin.
So they design for education and also for healthcare, right?
I don't know if Racklin did, but Huckabee is a very large corporation that designs for multiple sectors.
Any more question? Okay, is there a motion to approve architectural service agreement between the San Bernardino Unified School District and Huckabee for the San Bernardino High School Medical Art Classroom Building Modernization Project?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, Mr. Song.
Aye.
Mr. Ryan.
Aye.
Mrs. Gill.
Aye.
Mr. Chen, aye. And the student board member Book.
Aye.
Motion carry. Thank you.
Thank you.
Laura. Okay, next 12F, I would like to turn it over to Dr. Choi for approval of a financial management and a program tracking service for Major M and other capital facility fund between the San Bernardino Unified School District and the Key Analytics.
Thank you, President Chang, members of the board, and student board member Burke and executive team. One of the most critical components of the Measure M bond program is to have the ability to accurately track and monitor bond-related funds. And strong financial management not only ensures compliance, but also reinforces transparency and accountability to our community. With the use of advanced program management systems, we now have access to robust tools that can track expenditures, monitor cash flow, and generate the detailed reports required for the Citizens Oversight Committee. These tools will enhance our ability to manage the bond program with precision, efficiency, and clarity. At this time, I would like to invite CJ again to provide some additional background and share why we are recommending Key Analytics for board approval.
So I had the pleasure of working with Dr. Choi and investigating several bond accounting software vendors. Key Analytics really stood out because of their modern web interface. They have an interface that isn't aged like some of their competitors, and they also has a very transparent and customizable way for us to present data, not only to the CBOC, but also on our website as well. So having these tools, and also they provide staff on call to make adjustments as needed, because as committee members change, sometimes those requests change. So having staff that is personally involved with your district and helping you create those report templates is critical to the Citizens Bond Oversight Committee.
Are they willing to still extend that discount? One-time fee?
They weren't.
Really?
They were not.
Interesting.
I did ask.
So the term, how come they put a allowance of 10,000 for additional service? What is the additional service?
So they provide some additional services in terms of the Office of Public School Construction reporting, some grant services, and also some, if our CBOC reports require additional customizations beyond their standard scope, they provide those services as well. While we don't have anything slated for right now, we wanted to add that allowance to provide flexibility throughout the year in case we needed it.
But if they don't specify, is that we know
So-
how many additional service?
Yeah, so right where it shows on the screen, they have some expanded tools, which is an additional monthly fee, the Office of Public School Construction compliance reporting, which I mentioned, and a strategic cash flow for the financial master plan, and some expanded hourly support. So just dependent on how our needs are for the next year, we suggested to have an allowance of 10,000 so that we're able to react as requests come from either the Citizens Bond Oversight Committee, as we learn new information from our grant writers and our grant eligibility from the state. We want to be able to stay flexible to meet those needs without needing to do an additional agenda item or come back.
Any question?
Do you,
It just seems really expensive.
did you have like any competitors?
Yeah. Do
Yeah.
you have any comparable pricing? I mean,
I don't know off the top of my head, but I believe they were all within like 10,000 of each other.
but per month, 4,000 per month for
Yeah, they were all like
for
within,
reports.
I would say within that range.
Yeah, we evaluated other solutions and this was the most cost effective if we're comparing features with features. But I think one key strength about Key Analytics is the fact that it integrates well with financial systems such as the LA County's financial system, which is what we use. And that ultimately, because of that integration itself, will ultimately lead to lower costs for us for utilizing software like this for financial management.
So we can't use all our financial software that we have already, is what you're saying?
No.
We don't have that capability. Okay.
And we're fully implemented with the LA County system? Because we talked about it, but are we fully in?
We are in the implementation phases of the human capital management module, which is in collaboration with the HR department. We are looking to go live with that system in April of 2026. But on the financial side, budget and financial, that has been fully implemented.
So this agreement, they said the 12 months. So why is it 12 months? So after 12 months,
Another $74,000.
I think at the end of 12 months, we'll have the opportunity to revisit with Key Analytics. Anytime we implement a new system, if we have the option to not commit to more years than we have to, it's always good to start with a 1 year. But based on our evaluation, Key Analytics is the best value and the best software.
I also want to add those additional years, we won't have the implementation fee. That's part of this proposal as well.
Any more question? Is there a motion to approve the financial?
One more question.
Okay,
Sorry.
Go ahead.
So if I understand correctly, if we need the additional tools, that's an additional fee to what we're seeing here, right? And so do you anticipate that we will need the additional tools to gather the data or do the reports that we will need?
It's really difficult to forecast that. I don't anticipate that we'll need the full 10,000 allowance, but whether it is an OPSC report that does cost 1,200, I could easily see something like that occurring over the next year, especially as we're exploring grant opportunities and our funding eligibility when we start some of these projects.
Thank you, Mr. Chang. Thank you.
So look like no more question.
I have sorry, why would it be 500 per month for something they're doing quarterly? Because this a citizens bond oversight compliance is all quarterly, and then an annual report. So it just seems like they're just adding and adding and adding things on.
I believe it's monthly just because that's the standard subscription. It is a software that every invoice gets input into, every project budget gets placed into. It really holds all of the financial accounting for the entire bond program. So it's actively used beyond just those quarterly update reports.
Okay, all right, move to approve.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the financial management and the program tracking service for the Major M and other capital facility fund between the San Marino Unified School District and the key analytics?
Move to approve.
She's already moved.
Okay,
Yeah,
and second,
I've seconded.
roll call, Mr. Song,
Aye.
Mrs. Ryan,
Aye.
Mrs. Gear,
Aye.
Mr. Chen, aye. Student Board Member Book.
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you. Okay, next, 12G, I'd like to turn it over to Superintendent Dr. Territory to present a certificated administrative employment contract to the Board of Education for consideration and approval.
Thank you, President Chang, members of the Board of Education Executive Team. Tonight, the board is considering the recommended approval of an employment agreement setting forth the terms and conditions for Dr. Jason Rose to be employed as the Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources for the San Marino Unified School District. Government Code Section 54953 requires the board, prior to taking final action, to provide an oral summary of a recommendation for approval on the salary schedules, or compensation paid in the form of fringe benefits of a local agency executive during the open meeting in which the final action is to be taken. Therefore, I'm providing an oral summary of the financial terms of the recommendation being considered by the board this evening. Number one, Dr. Rose will serve as the district's Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources effective July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2028. Number two, effective July 1st, 2025, Dr. Rose will be paid an annual salary of $207,893 in accordance with the 2025-26 management salary schedule at range D55, 555, step 5. He will advance to step 6 effective July 1st, 2026 and continue to advance annually on July 1st until he reaches the final step of the management salary schedule. Number three, during the term of this agreement, Dr. Rose will be eligible to receive the same increase or decrease to salary and benefits approved for other employee groups via an increase to the management salary schedule. Any such changes to his salary and benefits will be approved by the board in a lawfully called open session of a regularly scheduled meeting. Number four, Dr. Rose will be permitted to continue to participate in fringe benefits, medical insurance, dental vision, life plans, life insurance, and district contributions to the state teachers' retirement system in accordance with applicable board policies and administrative regulations. Number five, Dr. Rose will receive a monthly cell phone stipend in the amount of $75, as well as a monthly mileage stipend in the amount of $250. Should the mileage in any 1 month exceed this amount, Dr. Rose may seek reimbursement upon submission of the appropriate proof of such expenses and with prior board approval. Number six, the agreement includes a no-clause buyout provision by which the board may decide to terminate the agreement prior to its expiration without cause. And in exchange for this right, Dr. Rose will be compensated up to 12 months of salary or the number of months remaining in his contract, whichever is less. He will also be permitted to continue to participate in the district provided health and welfare benefits for the same period of time or until he finds alternative employment.
I thought he was doing it for free like the rest of us. Jason?
Feels like it.
Stephen?
Okay, okay, I have a question. I saw the agenda, so they said the certificate administrative employment contract. Is that because it's a background, so then you use a certificate, right? I thought the HR usually is classified.
The position is classified, but you can have a certificated or a classified person in the position. He happens to be certificated. He has an administrative credential. He has his doctorate. He came up from the teaching ranks, so he has to be on a certificated management agreement.
So that means AA plus.
That's right. That's right.
And Steven's not doing it for free as well?
No, we're gonna get to Stephen next. Yeah.
Okay,
Practically.
any more questions?
No, I thought everyone was doing it for free here, right? Joshua?
Just you.
Just me.
Just kidding.
Okay, if not, is there a motion to approve the certificate administrative employment contract for the assistant superintendent of human resource?
Wait for it.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call, Mr. Song,
Aye.
Mrs. Ryan,
Aye.
Think long, think wrong.
Mrs. Gill,
Aye.
Mr. Chen, I, student board member Book.
Should have made him.
Tonight, student board member have a lot of responsibility. Approve the
You glad you started tonight?
media.
This is unusually long.
Hit the ground running.
Yeah.
All right,
Hit the ground running.
next.
Okay, next,
Better get him some new badges now.
12H. I would like to turn it over to Superintendent Dr. Territory to present a classified administrative employment contract to the Board of Education for consideration and approval.
Thank you, President Chang, members of the board, executive team. The board is also considering the recommended approval of an employment agreement setting forth the terms and conditions for Dr. Stephen Choi to be employed as the Assistant Superintendent of Business Services for the San Marino Unified School District. A summary of the financial terms of the recommendation being considered by the board this evening is as follows. Number one, Dr. Choi will be employed as the district's Assistant Superintendent of Business Services effective July 1st, 2025 through July 30th, 2028. Number two, Dr. Choi will continue to be paid an annual salary of $237,241 in accordance with the 2025-26 management salary schedule at range D 555, step 8, which is the maximum step. During the term of this agreement, Dr. Choi will be eligible to receive the same increase or decrease to the salary and benefits approved for the other employee groups via an increase to the management salary schedule. Any such changes to his salary and benefits will be approved by the board in a lawfully called upon session of a regularly scheduled meeting. Number three, Dr. Choi will be permitted to continue to participate in fringe benefits, medical insurance, dental and vision plans, life insurance, and district contributions to the public employees retirement system in accordance with applicable board policies and administrative regulations. Dr. Choi will receive a monthly cell phone stipend in the amount of $75 as well as a monthly mileage stipend in the amount of $250. Should the mileage in any one month exceed this amount, Dr. Choi may seek reimbursement upon submission of the appropriate proof of such expenses and with board approval. Number five, the agreement includes a no cause buyout provision by which the board may decide to terminate the agreement prior to its expiration without cause, and in exchange for this right, Dr. Choi will be compensated up to 12 months of salary or the number of months remaining in his contract, whichever is less. He will also be permitted to continue to participate in the district provided health and welfare benefits for the same period of time or until he finds alternative employment.
Any question? Okay, if none, is there a motion to approve the classical administrative employment contract for the Assistant Superintendent of a Business Service?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, Mr. Song.
Aye.
Mrs. Ryan,
Aye.
Mrs. Gill,
Aye.
Mr. Chen, aye. Student board member Book. Okay, motion carry. Congratulations for both of you.
Thank you. Thank you, President Chang, board members. If I may just express a word of gratitude, having the opportunity to serve this district is truly an honor and a privilege. Having served 20 years in this district and then being in this role to oversee business has been an opportunity of a lifetime. As you know, I've always believed in continuous improvement. Our district is in such a positive, has such a positive momentum. And I'm just so excited at the fact that there's so much that we've been talking about and planning that we'll be able to execute on a lot of projects. So I want to thank you for your trust and your support. And I'm really excited to work with such an amazing, cohesive executive and leadership team as well. So thank you again for the opportunity.
Well, and I just want to thank, I'm very honored and humbled and very grateful that the five of you have entrusted me along with Dr. Delatorre with this title. And I look forward to continuing my hard work for the staff and the students and the community of this district. And as Dr. Joy said, I look forward to the great things that we are doing and we're going to continue to do. So I just thank you. Thank you very much.
Congratulations. We
Congratulations.
gotta order you some new nameplates.
Everybody says Sheena.
I like it. Positive thinking.
Just
I like-
fill out-
I like- Oh, just right now you did. Okay.
On the back, you just flip it over.
So one thing that I just would like to say, in addition to echoing, you know, the appreciation and the trust in the team, is that, you know, we have, and I said this earlier, so much to be proud of. We've accomplished so many great things over the last, you know, several years, and we're going to continue to work very, very hard for the San Marino community. You know, the title of assistant superintendent is very common. And we had, yeah, I'm sorry, guys, sorry. We've had assistant superintendents in this district in the past, and the reason that we, you know, we reduced staffing and reorganized staffing was because we were declining in enrollment, and we got down to like 2,600 kids at one point. We're back up to, you know, over 3,200 kids in San Marino. So it really makes sense to restore our staffing to where it was in the past. And I really do appreciate your trust and faith and confidence in this team. And we look forward to continuing to work very, very hard for all of you.
Okay. Okay, next, what's the next?
Superintendent discussion.
Board and the superintendent discuss item. Jennifer, is that outside have a firework?
There are fireworks outside?
Yes, they're about to go off. Give it about 2 seconds.
Okay, if there's no any comment, the meeting adjourned at